I'm Amy, sex educator, sex and relationship coach, and sex shop owner.
And I'm April, VP of an international high-end pleasure products company and boss queen sex toy mogul. We're best friends who make our own rules about who we are as sexual beings.
With everything from how to be a badass in the bedroom to top tips for bringing your relationship to the next level, we have something just for you.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Don't forget to head on over to our website at shamelesssex.com for more. And for 15% off of some of our favorite sex toys, use coupon code SHAMELESSPP in all caps at purepleasureshop.com.
You are listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our sex podcast collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to your monthly bonus episode. We do this once a month. You get an ad-free episode where you just get the juicy facts from our guest. And our guest today is Anthony Asanti, and we will dive right in. This is actually a repeat guest. He was here in the beginning days of Shameless Sex, probably within our first year. We recently saw him in New York and had a conversation. We're like, let's come back on the show and talk about some new points for the fabulous work that you're doing. So here's the bio, and we will dive right in. Anthony Asanti is a straight male escort providing warm, sensual, professional companionship to women and couples. He is skilled in multiple healing techniques, including sensual massage and Bondassage. To learn more, visit anthonyasanti.com. And welcome to the show, Anthony. We're very happy to have you back.
Thank you for having me on, ladies. It's good to be back.
It was so lovely meeting you in New York. You had such a wonderful presence. Like, you're just so calm and soothing and just such a beautiful human. So we're happy to have you again, not in person, but on the air. So thanks for coming, Anthony.
So will you dive right in and just tell our listeners how you got into this line of work as a warm, sensual, professional companion to women and couples?
I'll try to make a long story short, but basically, I had worked in government and corporate for well over 20 years and got tired of it. And I decided I would go ahead and go to law school. In my second year of law school, I met a female lawyer at the top of her game. She was a partner at a law firm, and we hit it off very well. We went out on a date. We were already connecting. And she popped the question. I thought she was going to ask me to stay over the night, but instead she asked me to provide her with some warmth and some excitement and some intimate companionship. And she also introduced me to some of her friends that were in the same situation in their romantic lives as she was. And so everything blossomed from there.
So what's the situation, though? Is it like there was things that were missing in their romantic lives? And I guess, and I'll hand this over to April in a second. But I mean, brings me to, because I'm just curious, what was the missing link of what they were all looking for?
What I've been able to surmise is that they were women who were extremely intelligent and very beautiful and very successful. And a lot of men seem to be intimidated by those things. And because of that, they weren't meeting very many men. And the ones that they would meet, they did not care for at all. And that was the issue with the vast majority.
I can imagine with these high-powered executive, well, the picture that I feel like you're painting, these high-powered women that probably don't have a lot of time or space for even meeting people. And then when they do meet people, it's sort of scary that they're so independent and that they're kind of craving this sensual touch and intimacy from someone. And I guess it's probably not available to them all the time. And I don't want to generalize because there's so many humans out there. I can say that from my own perspective, it is scary for a lot of men that I've met that are like, wow, you're all independent and you're on your own. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need anyone to do anything. So in that regard, I mean, I want to know if that's, in your expert opinion, what do you feel like women are really craving?
What I've gleaned is that women are looking for the same thing all people are looking for. A connection, warmth, tenderness. They're looking to feel satiated. They're looking to feel whole and connected with another human being.
So are most of these folks that you're working with, are they, so you spoke to the single high-powered woman, which was interesting because we talked about this. April and I went to Paris and we were with a friend and we were talking with our friend who's very intelligent, well off, has it all together. And she said her main issue in the dating world is men. They like the idea of her in the first couple of dates, they're into it. And then eventually they're kind of like, you have too much going on for me. You have your shit together. And so she finds that hard in the single world to meet people. But are most of the women that you're working with, are they in relationships? Are they single, or is it a mixture of both? I know you work with couples too, but you see more single folks or partnered folks?
I think it's probably about 55, 45, or maybe even it's really close to half and half between a married woman and single women. It's somewhere about half to 55% married women.
Mm-hmm. And the ones that are married, are they mostly, do their partners know about it, or is it more something that they're doing on the side and the partners aren't usually aware of it?
In the vast majority of cases, the husband knows about it, supports her in it, and most of the time he is the one that makes the initial contact with me.
Mm-hmm. And that was one thing you mentioned to us. You said, and when we saw you recently, you said that sometimes men are hiring you to hit on their wives to make them feel wanted and desired. And this can actually happen sometimes where they ask you to go up to their wives in public and hit on them, and their wives might not even know that you're getting paid to do this. Can you explain more about this?
Most of the time, we've already planned out, where we're going to meet. It's usually at a bar, and the husband and wife are just out on a date, and then once I get to the hotel or the bar in the hotel, I'll let him know, and he'll excuse himself. And then I'll go and strike up a conversation with the woman, and we will just go from there. Then at some point, when she feels comfortable and ready, we will take things behind closed doors.
I can only imagine as we grow older, in general, it does sometimes feel like you become less and less significant. And I can only speak for myself, but as a woman, sometimes I'm like, God, I'm getting older and I don't feel sexy anymore. I've got this change happening and that change happening. And my partner hasn't told me I'm beautiful. And I don't even know how long. And there's all of these things that start to sort of weigh on you. And I can't imagine how alive and sort of affirmed these women feel. And especially I love that their partners are actually paying for that. I mean, hopefully it still feels authentic to them and it doesn't feel like it's, oh, you're paid to say that, but they do feel alive and in their power, because sometimes it does, like exchanging energy with another human, it lights you up. And it's so important for us all to feel that way. And that's why it's important for folks out there listening. If you love your partner, tell them how beautiful they are. Tell them that they're gorgeous. Tell them that they still light up your world, even if you've been together for 20 years, even if you've been together for 20 hours. Just keep that flame burning and use your words. Use your energy too, or pay Anthony and have him come in and do the things.
The research we talk about Esther Perel, probably we secretly, I think, want to sleep with her, but we're obsessed with her. And Esther Perel does a lot of work for everyone that doesn't know about Esther Perel's work. She has TED Talks. She has an Audible show. She wrote Mating in Captivity. She wrote a recent book called The State of Affairs. And she does a lot of work around affairs, cheating, and when people step outside of the dynamic of their relationship. Now, what Anthony you're speaking to is, it's actually within the relationship for these folks where they are, both parties are aware they're creating this dynamic with you, bringing you in, and there's some people that seek you out and the partners don't know. And what Esther Perel says, in the main thing around, not the main thing, one of the big factors, we used to think that affairs and cheating or seeking out extracurricular relationships and intimacy outside of your relationship was just about needs not being met. That used to be the biggest thing. Like, you're not meeting my needs. And you're speaking to that is a thing here. And what people are often looking for is aliveness. And, we live in this day and age where we see all the things that we can have in mainstream media. I can have, close intimacy. I can be told I'm beautiful and I can get this amazing touch. And I see what's available and I'm not getting that here, or I am getting that here. And I'm totally like some of the stuff that Esther Perel talks about, she says plenty of the people that are going outside of their relationship, their marriage or whatever it is, they're very happy. They love their partners. They're like, everything's great. I just miss feeling really alive. And I get that aliveness from newness. And so I love that what you're speaking to, you're kind of shining a light on one of the many ways that this can happen in the world of escorting. And yeah, I just really appreciate what you're doing. And I imagine what you see is a lot of these women. Maybe you can share a little more. Like, what are you seeing these women leaving with after your exchanges? Are they like glowing and shining,
ripping their partner's clothes off on the way out the door?
I've had situations where a client just met me in a different city. She was traveling on business. And her and her husband had talked about it, and they wanted to share the experience easily. And she could not wait to tell him all about it once I left.
What I'm hearing is, and what I appreciate is that there's sounds like there's a lot of respect that you're speaking to. Sounds like you're speaking to like supporting women as opposed to being like kind of breaking them down or trying to be controlling. You're almost like creating a spaciousness for them to blossom and shine and be their fullest expression of themselves by kind of like maybe not taking a step back, you're still taking a step forward in your masculinity, but you're doing it in a way that is still respectful and keep leaving spaciousness for them. And I can say that for me in my interactions with men that men who totally take 5 steps back and just it's all about me being in the lead, that can have some missing pieces. While it can be nice temporarily to feels good, I still want them to step forward too. But men who take 5 steps forward and don't leave a lot of room for me, there's something missing there as well. So it sounds like what you're really doing is empowering women with your masculinity.
Yes. Look at it this way. Suppose you and I were together and you were an accountant. You were a CPA, very accomplished in everything. I can barely add 2 + 2. It would only make sense for us to talk about financial matters, especially when it comes to taxes, and allow you to do what you do in order to make sure that we are compliant with the federal regulations and that we're able to take as many deductions and save as much money as possible. To the flexibility, being able to see the strengths in the woman and let her do what she does, and lead when appropriate.
Keeps you in your career. I know what we say too, like when our whole job here is to help people decrease shame, but if no one had shame around sexuality, we'd be out of a job too. I wouldn't have any clients to do my sex and relationship coaching. We wouldn't have this podcast. And in all of it is, everything, shame and all these things, they're teachers, right? And it sounds like the way you're showing up for people, you're not only helping them to maybe have healing experiences, but also to have aliveness and to have needs that are not being met to get met. And also you're teaching them things. It sounds like you're also a teacher. So we really, really appreciate that. And I love learning about the world of, escorting or sex work or all those things and what's happening in there. April and I are huge supporters of it. And especially this day and age when people are busy, or if you are in a partnership, or if you just don't want any strings attached, but you want to have a fulfilling, deep connection with someone, like, it's okay to pay for it. It's totally okay to pay for it. And the thing that you're paying for is no strings attached, and with someone who knows what the fuck they're doing. They are professionals. And so there's nothing wrong with that. And I think if everyone gets their own opinion, but our opinion is that there is nothing wrong with that. Can you tell our listeners, we said your website in the beginning, but how they can work with you? What's the protocol? They go to anthonyasanti.com. How do they learn more about you and work with you?
Sure. They can go to my website. I recommend reading the homepage. A few other pages, you may want to read a couple of my articles. I would definitely recommend reading one of my Bondassage articles or pages. Look at the donation page. If you have questions, you can contact me on the contact page. If you know you want to book me, just go ahead and go to the booking page, and I will get all of the pertinent information and give you a call or send you an email in under 12 hours in most cases. If I'm with a client for an extended period of time, it'll probably be 24 hours, but at the most, it would be 24 hours before you hear back from me. But that's pretty much how one can contact me. And of course, I'm on the relevant social media. If you want to see some of the things that I tweet about or discuss, you can always find me on Twitter and Instagram and a few other places, Facebook.
And again, everyone, that's
Twitter,
Anthony Asanti. You go to anthonyasanti.com. He's on the East Coast, but I know that you get flown out places so people can fly you other places should they want to spend some precious time with you. Thank you so much, Anthony, for joining us and teaching us more about all the ins and outs of your wonderful work and all of the needs, the voids, the loverships that you are fulfilling. We really appreciate it.
Oh. Loverships. Oh, I love that word. I'm hearing it just for the first time, but I love it. Loverships.
Well, now you can use that one.
Thank you so much. I certainly will. Thank you so much.
Well, we'll see you again. Thank you to all of our listeners who tune in, not only on Tuesdays, but sometimes for our bonus ad-free episode. Thank you for becoming part of the Shameless Sex Revolution. We love you, Anthony Asanti, and we love you, all of our listeners. We'll see you next Tuesday. Ciao for now.